you, here we begin with the first and the last class for Gaar. Okay. Now, whether you study this topic after transfer pricing, because I feel it is so much connected to transfer pricing, or you study as given in your material with a topic called as tax planning, tax evasion, whatever way you want to study, you study, topic should be covered. That is important, right or not? Now, before I start this, I, as a teacher, want you to connect this with your 5 classes of transfer pricing. So, is yesterday's class clear to all of you where we ended the transfer pricing with secondary adjustment? Primary adjustment is just increasing the income in my book becomes arm's length prices more and all. और चलो उस पे टैक्स दे दो, ठीक है. Secondary adjustment is that increase in the income should be brought in India. If primary adjustment is above 1 crores, that money should be brought in India within 90 days. If not, interest is charged at SBI rate plus 3.25% or RBI rate and 3%, right? Okay. But how long will I keep on showing that as loan and interest and all? Then for one time pay 18% tax, 12% surcharge and ESES, and then you are free from secondary adjustment. Documents are to be maintained 92D for 8 years, 92E, Chartered Accountants Report and Transfer Pricing Report, TP report it is called. Like this, you know, lot of stuff. Like yesterday someone was saying, ma'am, TP, is it seriously time pass? But I'll tell you, you start reverse way. When you're doing self-preparation, you all start with international taxation, complete DTAA, non-resident or transfer pricing, any one of it you want to start, equalization, levy, Gaar. These topics, if you cover up, 30 marks are done and only 3 chapters. Usme DTA to kitna chota hai. And all practical questions are asked. Non-resident, of course, it is vast, but I have given in the revision video also how you need to study it weightage wise. So along with the regular classes, repeatedly, if you watch 2-3 times the revision video, the way I am saying, you will be able to say it. Okay, right. Now, as we start with Gaar, we need to talk about few things more, and they are covered in the video that is already uploaded. So that part you need to watch on your own. Okay, 1 second. Huh? Okay, as we start today's topic Gaar, we should understand few things at the base level, that this topic is attached with one more topic which is talking about many things. Okay, I'm giving you the gist and then you can study in detail. One concept which we study from our CA Inter or CMA Inter is the tax management or administration, tax planning, tax evasion, and tax avoidance. They'll give you different 4 marks, 4 cases or 2 cases for 4 marks, and they will ask you to justify that is this transaction covered under tax planning and all or not, or this transaction is covered under SAR or GAR. ठीक है ना? Right. So let us understand what these terms are. Tax management or administration is complying with the laws. Complying with laws. Okay. How do you comply with laws? Like today is 13 June, 15 June is the last due date for paying your first installment of advance tax. That is 15%. So you need to pay it on time. Then every month, whatever TDS you deduct by 7th of the next month, you need to pay. So like this, TDS return, TCS return, किसी का tax काटा है, तो you'll have to give them the certificate in form number 16 or 16A. So like this, tax management or compliance is you need to comply by the rules, you need to file your return, you need to pay advance tax and so on. Tax planning is taking the best benefit of Income Tax Act. For example, though your gross total income is 8 lakhs, but they give you some deductions, ATC to ATU, and then on total income, you are supposed to pay tax. Actually, you have on gross total income 8 lakhs, but 1,50,000 you are putting in PPF, 50,000 you are taking Mediclaim. Like this, different aspects may you are taking a deduction, and then your income is 5 lakhs. So 3 lakhs you have planned and reduced your income. That is tax planning. I'm the sole earner in my house. I'm working in a company. I get salary. Part time, I'm working as an accountant. I get that fees. I'm investing in share market, and one of the properties are there in my name. I get rental income. So all my five heads are full. So can I do some tax planning? What is the way I can do tax planning is, can I take at least the investments and all in the name of my spouse if he's not having much income, or the properties if my son is like senior, he's above 21 years, can I take the property in the name of my son so he will start getting the rental income? So like this, when we divert the income, we are all staying in one family and everyone can get 2,50,000 exemption. Why do we open the HUF file? It is another mode of tax planning. So this tax planning is taught to you in every chapter, in inter, in final, wherever you study. Apply that knowledge and see how well you can save and plan your tax. Why people take housing loan and their own money is parked at a loan? किसी को लोन पे दे देते हैं, इंटरेस्ट आ रहा है, खुद हाउसिंग लोन लेते हैं, because interest is deductible in house property, principal is deducted, and rental aa raha hai, ghar liya, I have purchased a house by taking loan. That house I have put it on rent. The rent is coming, I'm paying EMI. The rent is coming. Over the period, that house will become free, and the value of house will properties will definitely increase. So these are very peanuts example I'm giving. If I go on talking 1 hour, I can talk about tax planning. It's like every chapter. This is the most dangerous one, not accepted. Generally, this is caught up in survey, raid, that is income tax search, tax evasion, tax ki chori karna. You are trying to suppress your sales and income. You are trying to overshow expenses by showing some fake expenses, ghost expenses, to making payments to relatives. वाइफ को सैलरी दे रहे, बेटे को कमीशन दे रहे, जबकि दे डोंट नो एनीथिंग अबाउट योर बिजनेस, दे आर नॉट इवन कमिंग, and you are doing it very neatly, everything by check. Every month you give by check salary to your son and commission to your spouse. So like this, people try to avoid the tax. They try to reduce the income, try to suppress the sales or increase expense, which is outrightly not allowed. This is the most dangerous one, which is actually leading to Gar. Gar born ही हुआ है इसके कारण. Okay, right? क्या है इसका नाम, क्या है? What is it? Tax avoidance. Tax avoidance is people are trying to bend the law by taking the benefit of loopholes. If things are not clear in the act, no, everyone will interpret it in their own way. Followed? So, for example, I need to deduct TDS and I'm asking Kusuma, can you give me your PAN number so that yeah, ma'am, I will give. आज देती हूँ, कल देती हूँ, ये है, वो है. So I'm saying I didn't deduct TDS because the PAN was not available. Department is saying if PAN is not available, deduct the TDS at highest 20% and just pay it. So like this, what is happening practically is that tax avoidance is people are trying to take benefit of the loophole. One more example I can give for tax avoidance is they say don't make payment above 10,000 in cash in a single day. I am paying 14,000 to Amir on a single day, but what I am doing is I am asking him to come sign, take 9,000, take another 5,000 now only, but sign it on a voucher which I will put after 2 days. So I'm trying to bend the law which is saying don't make payment related to your business above 10,000 in a single day. The best example of tax avoidance is cross transfer. Have you studied cross transfers in clubbings and in your inter? Husband Mr. X gives something to Mrs. X, then it will become taxable. तो Mr. X क्या करते हैं, उनका दोस्त है Mr. D, उनके वाइफ को FD गिफ्ट करते हैं, कितने की, 5 lakhs की. और मिस्टर डी क्या करते हैं, मिसेज एक्स अपने दोस्त की जो वाइफ है या उनका बेटा है, कोई भी है, इन देयर नेम ही हैज से gifted or he has transferred some property जिसका rental income is coming 5 lakh. So in short, that's why that gift above 50,000 to unrelated person is taxable in income from other sources. याद है सबको, 50,000 से ऊपर अगर आपने किसी को गिफ्ट दिया है and they are not your relatives, it will be taxable. So here these Mr. X and Mr. D are friends. Indirectly, Mr. X is transferred to Mrs. X. If I transfer to spouse and if spouse is getting some income, that will be clubbed in my hands. So I transfer to my friends or neighbor's wife. They transfer to this, so people do these kind of transfers, and then we will use a term which we have found from law. It is called as lifting of corporate veil. If it is like, if you remove the curtains and see, no, these transactions are all together, ये कोई अलग अलग transaction नहीं है, ये सब मिला जुला है, then whatever is transferred to 5 lakh to wife, that income is clubbed in the hands of husband, and whatever he has FD का जो interest आ रहा है वो D के हाथ में taxable होगा, as if you have gifted to your spouse. I've been going little fast. It's a simple example and I think you all have done this. So like this, people are trying to bend the law and trying to take the benefit of the loophole in their own way. To avoid this, first they started with SAR. SAR is what? Special anti-avoidance rules. Special anti-avoidance rules. SAR. SAR. What is SAR actually? To avoid these kind of the transfers, they said that if it is seen that these are cross transfers, it will become taxable. Okay. So like this, SAR is, example I can give is example. Unreasonable payment to relative. आपको याद है, if you make unreasonable payment to relative, you can pay salary commission to wife, spouse, brother, father, all. But it should be reasonable. Just because my son is working with me, can I pay 50,000 salary as accountant? उतना तो काम भी नहीं है हमारा. So unreasonable payment to relative is disallowed. One more example I can give is TDS not deducted. अगर किसी को पेमेंट किए और TDS काटना भूल गए, so 30% is disallowed in India, 100% is disallowed outside India. In India, these are all done in business head. That's why I'm asking you to watch the revision videos for once so that you have a base idea. They are too much in brief, 1-1.5 घंटे में तो पूरा revise हो जाएगा आपका. So these are example, and one best example for SAR is transfer pricing. Ma'am, transfer pricing पूरा chapter SAR है क्या? बिल्कुल. What is transfer pricing? Emotional part. Oh, you are doing transaction with your sister concern, associate enterprise. Then do it at arm's length. Others को आप 130 में सेल कर रहे हैं, sister concern को 80 में कर रहे हैं, नहीं उसको भी 130 करो. So these are special anti-avoidance rules which are again and again trying to put you in the boundaries of law. Okay, right? Detailed of this 4 topic, tax planning, management, and is this transaction tax planning or what? That is all given in the video. Please watch that. Just after this, that video is there in the app. So you watch that. I'm not going to teach that topic, but I'm with you all. If you have a doubt in that topic, message me and don't leave that, please. Okay. Now, मैम जब सार है तो गार की क्या जरूरत है? व्हाट इज द फुल फॉर्म ऑफ गार? जनरल एंटी अवॉइडेंस रूल. जनरल एंटी अवॉइडेंस रूल. take a pause and listen to me. In business head, section 40 is there. Section 40 says this is not allowed, ये allowed नहीं है, इसके ऊपर पेमेंट किए तो अलाउड नहीं है. ऐसे बहुत सारे disallowed parts are there. Okay, in section 40. But beyond that also, can transactions be manipulative? Where purpose of transaction is something more, but they have been done just to avoid the tax? Answer is yes. Then general anti-avoidance rule is saying that if between the parties, Indian parties, NRI, foreign company, there are some transactions wherein the tax benefit is more than 3 crores, and these transactions are not genuine, they are being done in such a way so as to avoid tax in India, then these transactions are not permissible. And even though everything looks very genuine, I'll just show you after 15 minutes 2-3 examples. I'll say, ma'am, ये तो बिल्कुल ठीक दिख रहा है, इसमें तो कुछ गलत नहीं है, लेकिन सब गलत है. So, they try to make fake companies. We call them shell companies in the tax haven countries or the no tax jurisdiction. It is called as NTJ. जहाँ पे कोई टैक्स नहीं है या कम टैक्स है, वहां जाके शेल कंपनी बनाते हैं. There we do the transaction. My company is in Chennai, your company is in Mumbai. We want to do some transactions. Rather than doing here, we open 100% subsidiary in, say, Mauritius, where the tax is 0, and we do it through there just to avoid the tax. So like this, if there are transactions, then to them GAR is applicable. Ma'am, agar SAGAR hai, very important question. Agar GAR hai, to SAR nahi rahega kya? What is SAR? Specifically, this is not allowed, this is not allowed, don't do this. If you have not deducted TDS, 30% expense disallowed. If you make payment unreasonable to relative, disallowed. If you make payment someone 10,000 above. So these are specific rules, which is again putting you in boundary. But what is GAR? It is generally an agreement between or a transaction which is going to happen, and government says this is not allowed. Okay, please put me a message whatever I am discussing orally until now, is it clear? Then we will start reading the topic. Okay, थोड़ा सा कहीं आपको लगेगा लॉ के जैसा है, I'll give examples and simplify it. And frankly speaking, this topic's weightage is 5 marks. If you try to learn it, you will never be able to learn the language, because literally it's law. Income tax बैरक का ही language है. जितने questions पीछे हैं 7 to 8, go and do those, are enough to get 5 out of 5 marks. But छोड़ के नहीं जाना. It's so easy. Like after studying so much in inter, what do you think of yourself? You know enough of income tax to understand SAR and GAR ये allowed है नहीं. Logic से तो समझ में आता है ना. तो you will understand the example, तो बिल्कुल भी छोड़ना नहीं है. ठीक है ना? चलो, let us do this. Can you see on screen? I am on page number 346 after my transfer pricing concept here. Section 95. All transfer pricing was 92 A, B, C and all. So this is GAR's applicability is 95. Applicability of GAR is 95. Impermissible avoidance arrangement. Impermissible avoidance arrangement means it's such an arrangement which is actually done only for the tax evasion. Then such an arrangement or agreement is not allowed. So what is impermissible avoidance agreement? Some arrangement lacks commercial substance. 100% subsidiary we have made in tax haven country. कोई काम नहीं है, सिर्फ उनका काम है इंडिया को लोन देना. So they are not doing any commercial things, just for the name's sake we have made. I'll tell you example for all that. Consequences of impermissible. Okay, some arrangement we come to know कि yeah, it is fitted into GAR, but अब करना क्या है उसका? What should be the line of action? And treatment of connected person and accommodating party. What consequence they will have to bear. Okay. Features of GAR are important for MCQs. Just read them, please. See, I'm giving so much of explanation today. This topic is very simple. I don't know if you're counting also. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages. में खत्म हो रहा है, but 5 marks questions are asked, and to understand that you need to have a very solid background, and then 7 to 8 questions are already there. Out of that only repeatedly they're asking the questions. Chalo, let us see. Gaar is applicable from financial year 17-18. Some of the books they are saying they are starting from 1-4-18. So it is assessment year 1-4-18, previous year 17 and 18. उसके पहले गार नहीं था. Provisions of GAR override DTAA. DTAA is overriding Income Tax Act. But अगर गार का provisions में कुछ conflict है तो गार will override the DTAA. Okay. An arrangement where tax benefit, not transaction value, tax benefit arising in aggregate to all the parties involved in that arrangement exceeds rupees 3 crore, तो ही GAR applicable है. Mark it, very important for MCQs. GAR is applicable not single party, when all the parties who are there in the arrangement, there will be Indian company, subsidiary, holding company, foreign company, shell company in the tax haven countries, jo bhi hai. So when all these are doing transactions, okay, they are doing transactions which are like the benefit in those transactions, tax benefit exceeds 3 crores, then GAR is applicable. And it is applicable for all the transactions after 1st April 2017. Same for the secondary adjustment. I hope I'm not confusing you, but secondary adjustment भी 1st April 2017 के बाद से शुरू हुआ है, and whether benefit is exceeding 1 crore. ठीक है? Provisions of GAR included in Chapter 10A of Act, and the necessary procedure for application of GAR and conditions under which it shall not apply have been enumerated in Rule 10U to 10UC. Okay? So where GAR is applicable and where it is not applicable. Let us see. For this chapter, some definitions are given. So these definitions are not to be learned, but just understand the terms. Okay. What do you mean by arrangement? Arrangement means any step in or part of transaction operation, whether enforceable, includes alienation of property, operation, scheme, arrangement. It's an understanding that, okay, we will do the transaction in this way. Asset includes all the property. Benefit in the arrangement could be in cash, it could be in kind. Connected person, the two parties may be connected. So just like your associate enterprise, connected person means person who's connected to another and includes relative of individual. Is relative of individual connected through him? Son, daughter, wife, spouse, jo bhi hai. Director of company or relative of director. Are the directors of company and their relatives connected to the company? Yes. Partner or member of the firm or AOP or any relative, if the person is a firm or AOP or BOI. Any member of HUF or any relative of such member, if the person is a HUF. So HUF के जो members हैं, they are all connected, no? Yes. An individual who has substantial interest in the business. Substantial interest के पास लिख दो more than 20% voting right if it is a company, or more than 20% share of profit if it is partnership firm, AOP, BON, all. So then this person is said to be what? Relative. A company, firm or AOP or BOI, whether incorporated or not, or HUF having a substantial interest in business of person or director or member or any relative of such director. Matlab once you know the companies and all are related, all directors are related. Partnership firm hai to all partners are related and so on. Or a company firm association whose directors have substantial interest in the business or family. So I'm a director of one company and I'm having substantial interest in another company. So they too will also become the connected companies. Agar connected company के बीच में arrangement हो रहा है which is impermissible, then they are said to be caught up under Gaar. So just understand this, you need not learn, as I'm saying. Any other person who carries on business, if person being individual or any relative has substantial interest in the business of that other person. Okay. Person being a company, firm, AOP, BOI, whether incorporated or not, or director, firm, relative, has substantial interest in that business. ठीक है. अब फंड की बात हो रही है तो व्हाट इज फंड? कैश और कैश इक्विवेलेंट एनीथिंग. Parties include a person or a P which participates. Who are the parties who will participate in any transaction which is covered under Gaar? It could be anyone in India. And NRI also, when they have P in India, they can enter into transaction. Person shall have substantial interest in a business. ये तो अलग से भी MCQ में पूछते हैं बार बार. Where at any time during the year he is owning equity shares more than 20%, or he is entitled to more than 20% profit share. Step includes a measure or action, particularly one of the series taken in order to deal with or achieve a particular thing. So what steps? Now, this is important. You are doing all the arrangement in the Gaar for the tax benefit above 3 crores. So what is tax benefit? What do you want in the tax benefit? Tax ka fayda matlab reduction or avoidance or deferral of tax, increase in a refund, tax ko kam karo seedhe seedha, increase in a refund of tax, or reduction or avoidance or deferral of tax or other amount that would be payable under this act as a result of tax treaty. Reduction or avoidance or deferral of tax or other amount that would be payable under this act as a result of tax treaty. कुछ countries के साथ हमारे tax treaty होती है and because of that the tax is getting reduced. Increase in the refund or other amount under this act, income tax act, or as a result of tax treaty. तो या तो आपका टैक्स कम हो रहा है या रिफंड इंक्रीज हो रहा है डायरेक्टली एक्ट में या फिर ट्रीटी में, और रिडक्शन इन द टोटल इनकम और increase in the loss in a relevant previous year or any other year. In short, tax का फायदा मतलब आपकी इनकम बढ़ रही है और आपके लॉसेस, sorry reverse I am saying, tax benefit is reduction in your total income, so reduction of the tax or increase in the losses. तो ये करने के लिए पूरी गेमिंग है. The whole gamification of the income tax act is to reduce your income, increase your losses and pay less tax. But if you do it within the limit of the act, no problem. Beyond that you go, you're caught up in Gaar. Okay. If income is increased by transfer pricing, SSC cannot claim exemption under 10AA or Chapter 6A by virtue. This we have already done. My total income was 7 crore, but because of transfer pricing, arm's length price and all, it was increased plus 3 crore और अब 10 crore हो गए. So because my income is increased by 3 crore, on the added income, can I take section 10AA exemption, वो SEZ वाला extra, or can I claim 80IA and all? Ma'am, you said कि 80IA में 50% of the profit is exempt. तो profit बढ़ गया तो बढ़ा हुआ profit exempt होगा क्या? नहीं होगा. This all we have already done. Now applicability of the Gaar section 95. यहाँ से शुरू हो रहा है. An arrangement entered into by SSE may be declared to be impermissible avoidance arrangement and the consequence in relation to tax arising therefrom may be determined subject to provisions of this chapter. The provisions of this chapter may be applied to any step in or part of the arrangement as may be applicable. कोई भी ट्रांजैक्शन और अरेंजमेंट ऐसा लग रहा है कि इम्परमिसिबल है, नहीं ये कुछ बेंड कर ले लॉ को, they are trying to evade the law, tax. In that case, it is caught up, and it can be caught up fully or it can be caught up partially also. Read it and ask your doubts till now. Scroll up करो. मैम ये तो सब रीडिंग ही लग रहा है, अभी तक कुछ खास इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है, तो ऐसे ही है ये टॉपिक. Just 2-3 examples which I say, draw it clearly, you will understand. Done? So when is Gaar applicable? From which date? 1st April 2017. Wherein the transaction is happening or arrangement or agreement is happening between 2-3 parties, and where the tax benefit is above 3 crores, then Gaar is applicable. Can we apply it to a part of the transaction also? Answer is yes. See, गार से ना टैक्स बेनिफिट होता है above 3 crore. So what is tax benefit? Reduction in the income, reduction in the tax, increase in refund, increase in losses majorly. Okay, now this is the crux. Mark it very important. इसको थोड़ा आराम से करेंगे एक एक. An impermissible avoidance arrangement. We are saying no, this is not. You go and say I want to watch movie. Yeah, go, no problem. You say I want to watch back to back 3 shows today. Then what will your parents say? Not permitted. You're not allowed to sit 3 hours, 9 hours क्या theater में बैठोगे, पागल हो. So like that impermissible avoidance arrangement is, we are not saying you don't do transactions with NRI, FIIs and all. Do it. But there should not be any arrangement, the main purpose of which is to obtain tax benefit. This is so important. That's why I've highlighted and written it in bold. Impermissible avoidance arrangement means an arrangement, the main purpose of which is to obtain a tax benefit. आप arrangement ही कर रहे हो, not to do genuine business with your parties, but just to avoid the tax, right? So the main purpose of impermissible avoidance arrangement is to obtain tax benefit. Okay, that is first thing. And in second thing, some language is there. Take a pause, आराम से करना. एक एक के लिए I'll give you example, तो it will be clear. Okay, चलो इसको साथ में पढ़ते हैं. Tax benefit होना चाहिए, तभी that's an impermissible avoidance arrangement. Second, it creates rights or obligations which are not ordinarily created between person who is dealing at arm's length. Means it is a biased transaction. I want all of you to write with me. ऐसा transaction जो arm's length पे नहीं है, it is a biased transaction, not on ALB. Arm's length price पे नहीं हो रहा है transaction. क्या लिखा है? It creates rights or obligations which are not ordinarily created between persons dealing at arm's length. तो नॉर्मली ये तो ऐसे नहीं होता है ट्रांजैक्शन. दैट मीन्स डेफिनेटली इट्स अ बायस ट्रांजैक्शन which is not done at arm's length price. इसमें एग्जाम्पल लिखो. एग्जाम्पल, one transaction entered into with foreign company. Write down in this gap. One transaction entered into with a foreign company with $80 million service provided by foreign company. फॉरेन कंपनी $80 million का सर्विस दे रही है इंडिया को. ओके, तो जो सर्विस इंडिया में दे रही है उसको तो टैक्स पे करना पड़ेगा. नाउ दे आर splitted into. अब इसको स्प्लिट कैसे किया, जस्ट आपको बताने के लिए. 20 million सर्विस वैल्यू, 60 million pre-designed equipment brought. Are you listening and writing the example? One transaction entered into with a foreign company with $80 million service they have provided by foreign company, splitted into $20 million is the service value they have provided to India. And for providing this service, $60 million के pre-designed equipment they are importing from the foreign country. ऐसे split करके बता रहे. So you know indirectly how much they are taking money from India? $80 million. How much I am paying to them being Indian company? $80 million. But on how much income they are paying tax in India? 20 millions. 60 तो they are saying from their country, say they are from Switzerland. वहां से पूरा equipment तैयार करके लेके आए, उसमें क्या income है? And they have used it for installation. So like this, you know, this is an arrangement that mainly for tax benefit. Otherwise, $80 million will be the income of the foreign company in India. To avoid that, they are trying to split. कि 20 million का सर्विस है, 16 million का तो रेडी मटेरियल है जो वहां से यहाँ लेके आए हैं और वहां पे टैक्स भर ही रहे हैं, तो why we should pay tax and like that. So this is not allowed. If this is caught up in law, it is not allowed. Is my example clear? I want an answer from you all. 2 minutes. Thank you for waiting. Bolo. Put me a message. Did you understand this? It's an arrangement wherein I'm taking service from an NRI and it is creating right and obligations which are not normally created. If they have rendered the service of 80 million, they should show 80 million royalty and pay the tax in India. To avoid that, they are trying to split the bill in such a way. ये तो उसका है. You know, in a smaller way, this can be like in India also. One second, I'll show you. ये ना हमारे पास भी हो सकता है. जैसे I have to collect audit fees from you all. For doing one tax audit, my fees is 80,000. अब उसको मैं स्प्लिट कर दे रही हूँ कि ऑडिट फीस तो 30,000 है. जो स्टाफ का यहाँ से चेन्नई गए थे ऑडिट के लिए, होटल, लॉजिंग, बोर्डिंग, वही सबका खर्चा 30,000 हो गया. And 20,000 was their traveling expense or like this. So I'm trying to say audit fees is this, which is not right. This is all a part of my audit fees. Are you getting? In a layman's term. So like that, if they are trying to make an arrangement wherein they are trying to skip, and these type of transactions are not at arm's length. If similar service I take from others, will they charge me only 20 million? No, $60 million they will charge. Okay? So first important aspect of impermissible arrangement is tax benefit. And second is it creates right or obligations or, ये ना सब conditions और हैं. If you want any one of it is done, then आ जाएगा इसमें. Second is it results directly in the misuse or abuse of the provisions of the act. Misuse or abuse of the provisions of the act. अब देखो, इसके लिए भी I'll tell you one diagram. These are all there in your study material. Can I ask all of you whether you're writing CA or CMA exam? Refer study material for example. Solved example with diagram and all are there. तो आप एक बार पढ़ सकते हैं. ये इंडिया है. Okay? Right. Foreign company. Now the rule is more than 10% if they invest in India. Who? Foreign company. Then income taxable in India. Foreign company, if they invest more than 20% in India, then income will be taxable in India. This is as per DTAA. Are you all writing with me? More than 20% investment in India, then income is taxable in India. ऐसा DT agreement है एक कंट्री का दूसरे कंट्री के साथ. ओके? चल, अब ना इसको अवॉइड करने के लिए हमने क्या किया देखो. F company is foreign company. 100% subsidiary बनाए. Okay, their subsidiary companies are A and B Co Limited. They will invest in India. They will invest in India. Is my diagram clear or shall I draw in notebook? Foreign company अगर directly invest करेगी above 20%, it will have to pay tax in India. So what it is doing is foreign company is investing through A company 9%, through B company 9.9%. Like this, almost 20% it is investing in India through 100% subsidiary. So are we misusing or bending the law? है ना? So this results directly or indirectly in misuse or abuse of law. Law is saying foreign company investing more than 20% in India will have to pay tax in India. तो हमने क्या किया? Foreign company ने 20% डायरेक्ट इन्वेस्ट करने से अच्छा 100% तो सब्सिडरीज फ्लोट किए, A Limited and B Limited, and through them we are investing in India. Clear? So these kind of transactions, they will not be taken as separate, they will be taken as same, and they are caught up in Gaar. Or it lacks commercial substance or is deemed to lack commercial substance. I'll tell you what is ki commercial substance nahi hai to. और commercial substance मतलब routine flow में तो नहीं हो रहे transactions. Or it is entered into or carried on by means or manner which are not ordinarily employed for a bona fide purpose. So normally you will not do it. If you are doing bona fide transactions, you will not. अब देखो कुछ लोग क्या करते हैं, I have sold the asset to you because I needed money, but actually I am using that asset for my production. तो मैं सेल भी कर लेती हूँ, फिर से आपसे लीज बैक पे ले लेती हूँ, सेल एंड लीज बैक. तो my asset is with me. I have sold the asset. This is all in paper. I have sold my plant and machinery to you. Then I have taken it on rent. Actually, it is lying with me. So this is the way impermissible arrangement are caught up. मैम एग्जाम में पूछेंगे क्या, या तो ऑब्जेक्टिव कब से एप्लीकेबल है, क्या लिमिट है, or they will give the case and they will say are they caught up in GAR or not, is GAR applicable or not. So you have to answer. Second example is clear to all of you what I have written. You are trying to literally bend the law. First one, it creates obligations which are not ordinarily created at arm's length price. ऐसे तो आप transaction और billing नहीं करते हैं. Or it results directly or indirectly in the misuse or abuse of the provisions. Rather than foreign company directly investing in India, they invested through 2 subsidiaries to avoid the tax. Or lacks commercial substance, or is deemed to lack commercial substance in whole. Or entered into or carried out by means or in manner which are not ordinarily employed. So very important is very important here is that that is investment techniques जो हम follow करते हैं ना third countries में जाके, तो अरे ये तो सब गलत हो रहा है. That's why they started. If it is caught up in GAR, they will not treat it as separate transactions. ये आपके दो subsidiaries है ना, A और B, 100%. Or especially when they say it lacks commercial substance means these 2 subsidiaries they don't have any other work. They are 100% subsidiary of A and B, funded by FCO. A and B subsidiary को पूरा funding FCO से आ रहा है, and they lack commercial substance means these subsidiaries don't have any other, कोई इनको ये नहीं है, फायदा नहीं है, कुछ commercial कोई transaction नहीं है except this arrangement. Diagram draw करना है, exam में नहीं draw करना है, but they'll give you the case and it will be clear. Whatever example I'm giving, I'll click the picture and upload the PDF in that same folder so that it is clear to you. It is carried in, ye ho gaya. An arrangement shall be presumed unless it is proved to be contrary to have been entered into or carried out for the purpose of obtaining a tax benefit. वो तो first है. And second है कि it's not legal, it is abusive, it is lacking commercial. मतलब एक ही बार हो रहा है या commercially practically तो ऐसे नहीं होता है. Notwithstanding the fact that main purpose of the whole arrangement is not to obtain a tax benefit. So an arrangement shall be presumed unless it is proved contrary to have been entered into and carried out for the main purpose of tax benefit. If the main purpose or part of arrangement is to obtain tax benefit, notwithstanding the fact that main purpose of whole arrangement is not to obtain the tax benefit. Genuinely foreign company service दे रहे थे, ऐसा नहीं है कि सर्विस नहीं दे रहे, but then the billing should have been proper, simple, right? Chalo. Now, as we talk here, that along with the tax benefit, the main purpose of impermissible avoidance arrangement is to do a transaction which lacks commercial substance. ठीक है? Chalo. An arrangement shall be deemed to be lacking commercial substance if the substance or effect of arrangement as a whole is inconsistent with or differs significantly from its individual steps or part thereof. अब ये देखो क्या है, you know, कुछ transactions lack of commercial substance, कुछ है ही नहीं, बस घुमा घुमा के काम कर रहे हैं. तो what actually they are doing? For the third one, I'm drawing, you know, round and round they are doing the transaction rather than going straight. So let us say this is India, this is a foreign company, maybe a tax haven country जहां पे कोई टैक्स नहीं है, जहां पे कोई टैक्स नहीं है. अब आई लिमिटेड कौन है? इंडियन कंपनी. इफ इट वांट्स टू गिव द लोन टू एक्स लिमिटेड, दे दो. आई लिमिटेड आपको एक्स लिमिटेड को लोन देना है, दे दो, इंटरेस्ट टैक्स हो जाएगा. To avoid what the X Limited, I Limited is doing, opens 100% subsidiary. And whatever it wants to give loan, say $60 lakh, whatever it is. तो I Limited क्या करते हैं? अपने सब्सिडरी को ट्रांसफर करते हैं अमाउंट. ओके, सब्सिडरी का नाम S Limited ले लेते हैं. सब्सिडरी is giving loan to X Limited. तो X Limited will pay interest. ऐसे इंटरेस्ट जाएगा ना X Limited से सब्सिडरी को, विच इज एग्जेम्प्ट, क्योंकि उनके कंट्री में तो कोई टैक्स ही नहीं है. अब देखो कितना घुमा फिरा खेल रहा है. I Limited Indian company wants to give loan to X Limited. So X Limited will pay the interest, I Limited will receive, and tax. No, I want to avoid the tax. Then I Limited is making a fake country in the tax haven country, foreign country. और वहां पे they open a subsidiary and transfer the money to subsidiary by some way. And then subsidiary is giving loan to X Limited. So rather I Limited giving a loan to X Limited directly, I Limited is opening a subsidiary in foreign company और वहां से X Limited को लोन दिला रहे हैं. Followed? Right? So these kind of transactions are lacking commercial substance now. कुछ genuine नहीं है. What is the purpose of making an S Limited company? Nothing. And why you are taking loan from foreign country when your own company is having so much money? So these kind of transactions are caught. जस्ट अगर इसको हम ग्रॉस वे में देखने जाए तो क्लबिंग में जो क्रॉस ट्रांसफर करते थे ना, वो ही है. चलो, इट इनवॉल्व्स. हैव यू ड्रॉन द डायग्राम? नो, देन आई विल वेट 2 minutes. इसको ड्रॉ करो, लिखो जैसे मैंने लिखी हूँ. कहीं कोई डाउट है तो आई विल रीड 1 to 1. Finished? चलो. एग्जाम्पल्स भी हैं आगे, प्रॉब्लम्स उसमें भी ये केसेस क्लियर होंगे. It involves round tripping financing. Now this is a round and round, no? I's own money is coming back and all. Huh? It involves an accommodating party, elements that have effect of offsetting or cancelling each other. कभी कभी क्या करते हैं, मार्केट से हाई रेट से इंटरेस्ट पे लोन लेते हैं, एंड देन दे गिव टू सिस्टर कंसर्न इन इंडिया, ऐसे भी होता है. Foreign company taking loan at high rate of interest and then giving it to the associate enterprise or sister concern at low rate. So foreign company taking loan, so they have to bear that interest, but वहां पे तो कोई टैक्स ही नहीं है उनके कंट्री में. So like this, it involves all, includes round trip financing, accommodating party, elements that have effect of offsetting or cancelling each other, or a transaction which is conducted through one or more person and disguises the value. Okay, one or more person and disguises the value, location, source, ownership, control of funds, which is subject matter of such transaction. Or it involves location of asset or of a transaction or place of residence of any party which is without any substantial commercial purpose other than obtaining tax benefit. Someone is very well resident and ordinary resident, but just उसको tax benefit avoid करने के लिए non resident बना देते हैं. They make sure he's not in India for more than these days and all. Location of the asset, यहाँ पे example लिखो please. Go to tax haven country to do transaction. Location of asset and all. So nothing to do with other country. But we are rooting, there was a very famous case also for this, for the Vodafone company and all. Straight, they were doing transactions with the Indian company, but they did it in a third country where the taxes were zero. And it does not have significant effect upon the business risk. Or net cash flow of any party or arrangement, apart from effect attributable to tax benefit that would be obtained but for the provisions of this section. मतलब ये क्या है ना कि हम लोन लेते हैं, लोन टेकन at 10%, loan given to associate enterprise at 3%. मैम फिर आपने तो लोन लिया है 10% से, आप लोन दे रहे हैं 3% से, तो आपको तो लॉस आ जाएगा, बट कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता हमको. Maybe whoever is giving the loan on all, they are in tax haven countries, like that. कभी कभी रिवर्स भी होता है, अगर लॉस एडजस्ट नहीं करना है तो लोन इज टेकन एट 3% और लोन इज गिवन एट 10%. तो मैम मुझे तो 7% इनकम आ जाएगी, बट ठीक है, कुछ बैकग्राउंड है, ऑलरेडी काफी लॉस पड़ा हुआ है, उसमें सेटल कर लेंगे, लाइक दैट. So these transactions are not real, in short. For the purpose round tripping financing, any arrangement which through a series of transaction funds are transferred among parties and such transaction do not have substantial commercial purpose, they will all be caught up. Okay, without having regard to means ignoring. When you see Gaar, it will ignore whether or not funds involved in the round trip can be traced to any funds transferred to or received by any party in connection with the arrangement. फंड वहीं के वहीं घूम रहे हैं, हम सब्सिडरी को दे रहे हैं, सब्सिडरी दूसरी कंपनी को इंडिया में दे रही है, ये वाला. तो वेदर and the time or consequence in which fund involves in the round tripping or transferred or financed, क्या पहले कर रहे हैं क्या बाद में कर रहे हैं, and the means by or manner or mode through which funds involved in the round trip are transferred or received. So it doesn't matter who is giving to whom and are you taking care of all the sequence and all, as long as it is seen that this is all round tripping. मतलब genuine दिख रहा है कि I limited has transferred to subsidiary, but why? Subsidiary S limited, can they give loan to X limited? Yeah. X limited is paying interest to S limited. वो तो टैक्स हेवन कंट्री है, छुट्टी है. तो X limited is taking benefit of high interest expense in India, और S limited तो इंडिया में टैक्स ही नहीं पे कर रहे हैं. ऐसे थोड़ी होता है. Right. So these are all the examples. Just understand it is enough. A party to an arrangement shall be accommodating party if the main purpose of direct or indirect participation of that party in the whole is to obtain a tax benefit for the SSC, whether or not party is connected with person in relation to any party or not. So all the parties will come into picture when we know that they are just accommodating purpose, and the main benefit is what? Tax evasion. Following may be relevant but shall not be sufficient for determining whether an arrangement lacks commercial substance or not. So the following may be relevant, but it will not be sufficient. Means we will ignore while checking the Gaar impermissible avoidance arrangement commercial substance hai kya nahi, the period or time for which arrangement exists. मैम ये गार में कॉटअप होगा ऐसा लग रहा है, बट दिस इज ओनली वन टाइम ट्रांजैक्शन. राइट डाउन. ठीक है, वन टाइम ट्रांजैक्शन ही सही. गार इज नॉट सेइंग द ट्रांजैक्शन शुड बी रिपीटेड, सो इट इज नॉट सफिशिएंट whether an arrangement lacks commercial substance, namely period or time for which arrangement exists, कितने टाइम के लिए कितने बाद, fact of payment of tax directly or indirectly, fact that an exit route including transfer of activities provided by arrangement or not. Exit route is what? कि आप निकल जाओ यहां से easily. Now, what is the consequence of impermissible? Impermissible avoidance agreement is over. Just is whenever transactions are done between parties after 1/4/2017 and in the arrangement tax benefit exceeds 3 crores, and along with tax benefit, if we feel that transactions is not in the ordinary course of arm's length, or it directly misuses or abuses the provisions of the Act, or it is lacking commercial substance, then it will be treated as impermissible avoidance arrangement and it will not be allowed. Round tripping भी आएगा, सब आएगा, but it doesn't matter कि ये कितने बार हो रहे हैं transaction. Little bit technical theories there. If you're feeling I'm going on reading, just read 2-3 times and you need not write this language. Answer language is very simple. I'll share with answer. If an arrangement is declared to be impermissible arrangement, then consequence in relation to tax, including denial of tax benefit or benefit, shall be determined in such manner, in such circumstances as follows. अगर ये बोलते हैं कि नहीं नहीं ये आप जो बता रहे हैं ना ये सब गलत है, एक्चुअली आई लिमिटेड नहीं है, एक्स को लोन दिया है, ये सब फेक फॉरेन सब्सिडरी कंपनीज है, तो कंसिक्वेंस क्या होगा? Disregarding, combining or recentering any step, whatever they have इधर का उधर जो बनाए, they will disregard. Okay, treating the impermissible or as if it has not been entered, कोई transaction ही नहीं हुआ. Disregarding any accommodating party or treating accommodating party as another party. Deeming persons who are connected person in relation to each other to be one and the same. Excuse me. Cross transfers, I said no, Mr. X has transferred to his friend's wife, but as if it will be assuming कि ये They are all connected, and directly whatever income is received by Mrs. X from D, it will be taxable in the hands of Mr. X only. So deeming persons who are connected and the same person for the purpose of depending tax, reallocating among parties any accrual or receipt of capital nature and expenditure and all. तो अगर गार में आप आ गए तो इसके कंसिक्वेंस में जो भी एक्सपेंसेस डिसअलाउ होंगे, इनकम बढ़ेगी, टैक्स बढ़ेगा, लॉसेस विल रिड्यूस, ऑल दैट विल बी टेकन केयर. ठीक है. Treating the place of residence of any party to arrangement or the status of the asset at place other than the place of resident, location or caste and all, considering or looking through arrangement but disregarding the corporate structure. यहाँ पे लिखो lifting of corporate veil. So the consequences, once it will caught up, it will disregard the combined ki okay, this is a subsidiary and this, assume ki foreign की कंपनी ने डायरेक्टली 20% से ज्यादा इन्वेस्टमेंट किया. Those two subsidiaries are fake. They are lacking commercial substance. Clear? Right. Next. For this purpose, equity can be treated as debt, accrual can be treated as receipt, capital can be treated as revenue, and any expenditure deduction, relief or rebate may be recharacterized. हो सकता है. ठीक है. चलो next. Treatment of connected person and accommodating party. For this purpose, determining whether tax benefit exists, the parties who are connected to each other may be treated as one, and accommodating party may be disregarded. Accommodating party or any other party may be treated as one, and arrangement may be considered or looked upon through by disregarding any corporate structure. Means the gist is, conclusion is, they will remove all the barriers and look into arrangement pura ek saath. The provisions of this chapter shall apply in addition to or in lieu of any other basis of tax determination. So Gaar is overriding DTAA, SAR and all. Okay, so it is applicable. The provisions of this chapter shall be applied in accordance with such guidelines and all. Okay. Non-application of the Gaar. Mark this very important theory question. What are the cases where we know we can apply Gaar but we cannot? It's not applicable. An arrangement where tax benefit in, see, we know कि ये ना ठीक ठाक नहीं है, but उसकी वैल्यू है 10 लाख रुपए, जाने दो, छोड़ दो, छोटा ट्रांजैक्शन है. समझ में आ रहा है आपके लिए? An arrangement where tax benefit in the relevant assessment year in aggregate to all the parties to arrangement does not exceed 3 crore. जो भी वो अरेंजमेंट में एक सिंगल पार्टी नहीं है, 2-3 पार्टीज है, तो ऑल द पार्टीज, किसी को एक्सपेंस, किसी को लॉस, is the benefit exceeding 3 crore, then applicable. If not, not applicable. Second, GAR provisions are not applicable to foreign institutional investors. You all remember FIIs? NR में भी पढ़ाया था आपको. FIIs, they invest in India in bulk. And then we say नहीं नहीं इसको GAR applicable, उसको तो भाग जाएंगे. They will not invest in India. And we want the foreign institution investors and all to invest in India. So who is किसको GAR applicable नहीं है? FII, who is an SSC under this act, who has not taken the benefit of any agreement, DTA का कोई फायदा नहीं दिया है, or who has invested in the listed securities, unlisted securities with the prior permission of the SEBI. So FIIs, foreign institutional investor who is SSC, who has not taken the benefit of the agreement, DTAA का कोई benefit नहीं लिया है FII ने, and they have invested in the stock exchange. उनको गार नहीं लगाएंगे, because उनको गार लगा के पकड़ेंगे तो भाग जाएंगे. The person being a non-resident in relation to investments made by way of offshore derivatives, in foreign institutional investors. So FIIs ko to GAR is not applicable, but if there is a non-resident, okay, and he has investments made in FIIs and those FIIs are investing in India, तो वो non-resident को भी GAR applicable नहीं, because they really want FIIs to invest in India freely, not with any restrictions. Any income accruing or arising to or deemed to accrue or arise or received or deemed to receive by any person from transfer of investment made before 1/4/2017 के पहले GAR applicable है. So don't you think these 2 points are तो repeated और इन दोनों को connect करके याद कर लेंगे. हाँ, ऐसे ग्रुपिज्म बनाओ, ग्रुप बनाओ. Literally, I am telling you, you will have to listen to this video 2 times. Repeat, and you will learn it. Provisions of this chapter 10A shall not apply kisko? Where the tax benefit does not exceed 3 crore or where the transaction entered is before 1/4/2017. Or to FIS, foreign institutional investors, directly, or to a non-resident who is investing in the FIS. And FIS is investing in India. Consequence. Where a part of arrangement is declared as impermissible, the consequence in relation to tax shall be determined with reference to only that part. Sometimes in the arrangement there are 2-3 transactions, payments or different cheezeं. So whatever part के लिए they have declared it void ab initio or impermissible, that part only they will apply. So GAR's procedure is clear. Which are the transactions which are covered in GAR, वो clear है. अब इसके लिए ना AO को notice देना होगा. This is a procedure part where I am writing R for reading. ये procedure आपको exam में नहीं पढ़ेंगे, but just idea होना चाहिए. Whenever AO feels so, he shall make a reference to commissioner issuing a notice in writing to SSE that why he should not apply GAR. So notice will have all the details, tax benefit E and O. Then the SSE will be given opportunity to heard. SSE will give all the report to the commissioner. Commissioner, if it is satisfied that GAR nahi lagna chahiye, so they will pass the order or they will reply and apply the GAR. So like this, some procedure is given that you should know. No direction shall be issued by commissioner after expiry of 1 month in which date of compliance of notice is given. Okay. Commissioner will check everything and come to the conclusion whether GAR is applicable or not. Okay. So here we complete with the concept. It's a very small topic wherein they are saying ki few transactions. Acha, one basic thing. Can SAR and GAR coexist? Answer is yes. Isko likho. Can SAR and GAR coexist? Answer is yes. Okay. Chalo, some questions are there. How they are asked, we will try to answer it accordingly. नहीं समझे तो एग्जाम में आपको थोड़ा सा डायग्राम बनाना पड़ेगा. Questions में 2-3 companies are involved, then you will have to make a diagram and then it will be like clear. Merger of loss-making company with a profit-making one results in losses setting off a lower net profit and lower tax liability for the merged company. Would the losses set off be allowed? Yes. As regards setting off the losses, the provisions relating to merger amalgamation already contains the SAR, specific entity avoidance rules. Therefore, GAR would not be invoked when SAR is applicable. No, this is wrong. ये change हो गया दोनों. Generally, of course, अगर SAR है तो नहीं होगा, but they can coexist This is the CBDT's clarification. सही है वैसे लॉजिकली कि सार अगर स्पेसिफिकली ये अवॉइडेबल है तो इसको जरूरत ही नहीं है गार में जाने की, बट बोथ कैन को एक्सिस्ट. सो व्हाट इज दिस हियर? कैन यू मर्ज अ लॉस मेकिंग कंपनी विद अ प्रॉफिट मेकिंग, ताकि जो लॉस है उसका बेनिफिट प्रॉफिट वाले को मिले और टैक्स कम हो जाए? यस. In the above, let us assume that profit of the company merges with loss-making one. This results in losses setting off the profit, a lower net profit, a lower tax liability for both companies. अब उल्टा हो रहा है देखो. अभी क्या हो रहा था? You are merging losses with profit. फिर से देखो पहले वाला एंड सेकेंड वाला. Same kind of questions are there. Merger of loss making company with a profit making. तो वो प्रॉफिट का भी नीचे आ जाए एंड लॉसेस का बेनिफिट. टेक अ पॉज एंड गो टू बिजनेस रिस्ट्रक्चरिंग चैप्टर, स्लम सेल और वो सब किए थे ना, तब आपको बताया था कि इफ देयर इज अमलगमेशन, देयर इज मर्जर, देयर इज डीमर्जर, then these losses are allowed to be set off by the new company for fresh 8 years, except in case of demerger, where it will be allowed to the resulting company अगर उसका proportionate है तो only for the remaining years. तो वही है कि if you are merging loss making company with a profit making company to reduce the losses, provisions relating to merger are already given in the SAR. They are saying कि SAR में clearly दे दिया कि ये allowed है, disallowed है, तो गार की जरूरत नहीं है, but both can coexist. Now let us assume the profit making company merges. अभी क्या हो रहा था? लॉस मर्ज हो रही थी. अब ऐसे लिखो, प्रॉफिट मेकिंग जाके लॉसेस में मर्ज हो गई. दिस रिजल्ट्स इन लॉसेस सेटिंग ऑफ इन द प्रॉफिट. कोई प्रॉफिट कंपनी हमारे में मर्ज हो गई तो वो तो प्रॉफिट हमारा है और हमारा लॉस तो हमारा है, तो बिल्कुल सेट ऑफ होगा ना. Tax liability, can this be examined under the GAR? In case of merger profit making company with loss making, there is no SAR. However, since such merger would be under the order of High Court, GAR cannot be invoked. See, very crucial it is to answer कि why a profit making company, आप खुद इतना strong हो, why you want to get merged in a loss making company? Like Satyam was a loss-making company taken over by Tech Mahindra. वो ठीक लग रहा है. But we are profit-making merging. Why we are merging into losses? So the question is, can this be examined with GAR? No. In case of merger of profit-making with, there is no specific. However, since merger would come under the order of High Court, GAR will not be applicable in the negative list for invoking GAR as mentioned in the guidelines. So reverse में allowed नहीं है. Losses merge हो रहे हैं, profit में no problem. Profit merge हो रहा है, loss में GAR applicable नहीं है. Next, HCO incorporated ESCO in notified, some जहाँ पे tax कम है, तो no tax jurisdiction it is called, with equity of US dollars. So H company ने सब्सिडरी कंपनी बनाई. एच कंपनी है, इसने सब्सिडरी कंपनी बनाई. सब्सिडरी कंपनी हैज नो रिजर्व्स एंड इफ गिव्स अ लोन ऑफ $100 टू एच को, इसने लोन दिया है एट द रेट ऑफ 10%, विच इज यूटिलाइज्ड for business purpose. HCO claims deduction of interest payable to ESCO from the profit. There is no other activity ESCO. ESCO कहाँ पे बनाया है, कौन से एरिया में है? नो टैक्स जुरिस्डिक्शन. तो हमने एक सब्सिडरी बनाई कंपनी ऐसे एरिया में जहां पे there is no tax, and if ESCO it gives loan of US dollars 100 crore, sorry 100 at the rate of 10%, which is utilized. So HCO claims deduction of interest. Okay, there is no other activity. Can GAR be invoked? Yes. The main purpose of arrangement is to obtain interest deduction in the hands of the holding company जो इंडिया में है. हमने ही अपनी सब्सिडरी को पैसे दिए पूरे, और अब हम ही सब्सिडरी से लोन ले रहे हैं, उसको इंटरेस्ट पे कर रहे हैं, तो व्हाई दे विल अलाउ दिस इंटरेस्ट एक्सपेंस? आर यू गेटिंग? कैन वी गिव लोन टू आवरसेल्व्स? और वो भी इनडायरेक्टली. खुद को तो लोन दे नहीं सकते हैं. लाइक बेसिकली फ्रॉम फाउंडेशन यू हैव स्टडीड प्रोप्राइटरी कॉन्सेप्ट एंड dual entity concept and all. So what I do, I transfer my capital to my subsidiary somehow, and subsidiary is giving loan. So the main purpose of arrangement is to obtain interest deduction in the hands of the holding company. There is no commercial substance in establishing the subsidiary company, since without it there is no effect on the business risk of the holding company. Moreover, it is a case of round tripping. खुद का ही पैसा खुद के पास घूम के वापस आ जा रहा है. Round tripping, which means a case of deemed lack commercial substance. Hence, it would be treated as impermissible avoidance arrangement. Consequently, in case of holding company in India, interest payable would not be disallowed. I mean, say it would be disallowed by regarding ESCO. No corresponding relief would be allowed in case of ESCO by way of refund of taxes and all. वैसे ही कोई टैक्स नहीं है, फिर भी उनको कोई बेनिफिट नहीं मिलेगा. But in holding company, interest is not allowed, because this interest you have not paid to outsider, you have paid to yourself. See, as a teacher, my own experience I am sharing with all of you. GAR is a topic which you have to repeat. But ज़्यादा बड़ा नहीं है, तो repeat the questions, no, what we have already done. हाँ, and मतलब जो क्लास में questions हैं वो repeat कर लो, बस है. Applicable कब है? What are the cases it is not applicable? If I ask you just a random question, then it is not applicable if transaction is done before 1/4/2017, or the tax benefit for all the parties is not exceeding 3 crore, or the transaction is done by FIIs directly, or non-resident who are investing in the FIIs and then they are doing. So here, 4 cases it is not applicable. So repeat this, और ये जो procedure है वो ठीक है. You can frankly speaking leave. ये देखो third question फिर से करते हैं. Holding companies in India, they have incorporated a subsidiary company in no tax jurisdiction, जहाँ कुछ tax नहीं है. Subsidiary company is not having reserves and all, but it gives loan to the holding company, and holding company claims interest paid to subsidiary as deduction, whereas they only have funded the subsidiary. Okay, so there is no. Can GAR be invoked? Answer is yes. Main purpose of arrangement is to obtain interest deduction in the hands of the holding company, and there is no commercial substance in establishing ESCO, since without it there is no effect on the business risk of HCO and any change in the cash flow. Moreover, it is a case of round tripping, which means a case of deemed lack commercials. There is no commercial substance, it is lacking commercial substance, this kind of transaction. Hence, it would be treated as impermissible avoidance, and consequently, in case of HCO, interest paid would be disallowed by regarding ESCO. No corresponding relief would be allowed in case of ESCO by way of refund of taxes. Okay, right. An Indian company, UG Limited, is closely held company, and it is a subsidiary of a company, Smile. You know, closely held company, private company, and it is a subsidiary of Smile Limited, incorporated in country C1. UG Limited was regularly distributing dividend, but stopped distributing dividend, and the date when dividend distribution was introduced. You know, अभी तो नहीं है, अभी there is no dividend distribution tax in India. 115 पर था. UG Limited allowed its reserves to grow, not paying. Either you can give dividend to shareholders, or you can allow your reserves to grow, and then you can give bonus, or you can buy back shares. सब company अपनी अपनी policy करते हैं. As a result, no DTA was paid by company. Subsequently, buyback of shares was offered by Yug Limited to its shareholders, and Smile Limited paid taxes on the capital gain arising on the buyback of shares. Can Gaar be invoked on the ground that there is a deferral of tax liability by Yug Limited? Yug Limited dividend नहीं दे रहा है, क्योंकि it is trying to avoid the tax and all. Answer is no. Here Gaar cannot be invoked. No Gaar. ऐसे लिखो. Write down the answer. No Gaar. Giving dividend or bonus or buyback is the strategy decision of company. ये तो कंपनी की अपनी स्ट्रैटेजी डिसीजन है कि उनको क्या करना है. In this, they have not avoided any tax and all. Genuinely, they stopped giving dividend and they said, let us accumulate the profits in the form of reserves. Over the period, we will do buyback of our own shares and cancel out of reserves, or we can give bonus shares. देखेंगे क्या करना है. ठीक है. Company PK borrowed money from company UK and used it to buy shares in 3 subsidiaries of PK. PK has borrowed money from UK and used it to buy shares in 3 subsidiaries. Though the fair market value of the share was 100, PK paid 3,600 to pay shares of subsidiary. और ये कोई लिमिटेड कंपनी नहीं है, कहीं नहीं दिया है. Amount received by subsidiary companies 100 per share की जगह पीके ने कितने में खरीदा? 3,000. is transferred back to another company connected to UK. Okay. And then the said shares were sold by PK for 100 by 5 each, and short term capital loss. Obviously बहुत महंगे रेट में खरीदे और सस्ते रेट में बेच दिए. This was set off against short-term capital gain from other sources. कौन? PK के पास. PK को loss क्यों आया? He purchased shares of his subsidiary at 3,600, whereas market value was 100, and then sold them at less than 100. तो PK को loss आया. That loss he has tried to set off in other capital gain. All the companies are Indian company. यहाँ कोई foreign company नहीं. Can Gaar be invoked? Answer is no. First of all, please note this company PK and all these companies, Indian companies, they are not limited company. कुछ दिया नहीं हुआ है. तो closely held companies go to section 56, income from other sources. If closely held companies issue shares greater than FMV, it will be treated as income from other source. बात समझ में आ रही है? Closely held company issuing shares of 100 each at 3,600. Then this will be treated as over and above the fair market value, whatever is the value, it will be treated as income from other sources. This is there in your income from other sources. So these kind of transactions are already covered by SAR. अब ये तो एक SAR हो गया ना, specific anti avoidance rule की private company, if they are issuing the shares at fair market value 100, they can't issue the shares to their relative 3,600. It's like fake income to the company. So it will be taxable for this private company 3,500 rupees income from other sources. ये already section 56 में ban किया हुआ है. So this is already specifically covered in SAR. So GAR is not applicable. But as I told you, GAR and SAR can definitely, they are there. चलो. Foreign bank Sun Limited's branch in India arranges loan. Okay, foreign का bank है Sun Limited. Their branch in India arranges loan for an Indian borrower from another branch of Z located in another branch of the Z located in third country. The loan is later assigned to Z's subsidiary country in F1. India F1 treaty provides no source-based withholding tax or interest कोई. So this therefore result is no कोई tax नहीं लगता है. मतलब सी फॉरेन बैंक है एक सन लिमिटेड, उनका ब्रांच है इंडिया, दे अरेंज लोन फॉर इंडियन बोरोवर. ओके, वो फॉरेन कंपनी क्या करती है, इट इज गिविंग लोन फॉर इंडियन कस्टमर थ्रू एक ब्रांच, बैंक का एक ब्रांच है जेड लिमिटेड. ओके, should I draw diagram or clear? We are taking loan from Sun Limited's branch Z Limited, तो we have to pay interest to Z. But Z ने क्या किया, assign कर दिया लोन को to subsidiary which is in F1 country, or India and F1 country there is treaty, nothing is taxable. So we are not like, this is not being caught up. Is Gaar applicable? Yes, Gaar is applicable. You cannot assign like this to avoid tax. See, I had to pay interest to Z and Z has provided me loan in India. Z is a foreign bank. They have provided loan in India. So will they pay tax in India? Yes. To avoid that, Z is saying, no, no, ऐसा समझो मैंने लोन नहीं दिया, F1 कंट्री में मेरी और एक ब्रांच है उसने दिया, आप लोन दे दो. And between that country and us the treaty is no tax. तो क्या टैक्स नहीं लगेगा? बिल्कुल लगेगा. You cannot divert the loan like this. चलो, next last one, second last one, winking. आप वापस से पढ़ना क्वेश्चन घर में, और कोई डाउट है तो पूछना. Winking is an Indian company incorporated in J1. It is engaged in business of providing architectural design services all over the world. It receives an offer from Pure Limited, an Indian company, for designing and development of resorts all over India. ठीक है? Now India and J1. ये country कहाँ से है? J1. Tax treaty provides that architectural services are technical services and payment of same to a company may be taxed in India. However, if such professional services are provided by firm, then payment for such services are taxable only if firm has a fixed base in India और stay of partners exceed 180 days. देखो, अगर हम कोई फॉरेन की कंपनीज को बोलते हैं कि इंडिया में आके रिजॉर्ट्स बनाओ और आर्किटेक्चरल सर्विसेज दो, तो द फॉरेन कंपनी हैज टू पे टैक्स इन इंडिया. बट बिटवीन माय कंट्री and J1 country, the tie-up is, if you do it through partnership firm, then partnership firm will have to pay the tax in India only if they stay in India or their employees stay in India above 180 days. So Wink Incorporation forms a partnership firm with a third party having only nominal share in the J1. The firm enters into an agreement to carry out the service in India. The company seconded its trained manpower to the firm. कंपनी से ट्रांजैक्शन करूं तो कंपनी को टैक्स पे करना है. कंपनी ने एक पार्टनरशिप फॉर्म बनाई, खुद ही मैन पावर दिया, खुद दिया, एंड दे आर आस्किंग मी टू डू द ट्रांजैक्शन टू फॉर्म. Does the partnership firm claim the tax benefit and no tax paid in India? Can such an arrangement be examined under Gaar? Answer is yes. समझ में आ रहा है? यहाँ पे लिखो, as partnership firm is lacking commercial substance. Partnership firm is lacking commercial substance. काम ही क्या है? Why did you make foreign company? If you render architectural services in India, help us make resorts in India, you'll have to pay tax in India because this income you have earned through India, residential status. But you are doing it through a partnership firm जिसका 180 days से कम है attendance India में and all, and then whatever we pay to partnership firm it's exempt. तो ये तो गलत है, ये सब arrangement है. तो ये lifting of corporate veil very well caught up in Gaar. Are you all following the questions? One or two, if not clear, repeatedly read it. As a teacher, I always experience how a students feel. Maybe 20% of the questions are not clear. फिर से पढ़ो, मैम ये क्वेश्चन फिर से समझाओ. Tell me tomorrow, I will clear all your doubts for Gaar. Examine whether Gaar can be invoked in following cases. Messrs, इसको A part कर देते हैं. Sandy Limited is a company incorporated in India. It set up SEZ zone and it claims 100% deduction. No, SEZ बनता ही है. SEZ is formed to take section 10 AA benefit. Government is only giving you benefit. तो कोई गार, कोई चीटिंग नहीं है कि हम अपना बिजनेस SEZ. गवर्नमेंट तो बोल रही है कि if you want to do only export business, why you are doing it in the heart of Hyderabad? Go in the outskirts, find yourself an SEZ, and from there you export. Lot of tax benefits will come. Even your inputs will be tax free if your unit is located in SEZ, and 100% you are exporting your goods and services. तो इसमें तो गार लगने का कोई सवाल ही नहीं है. Now in the above case, leave it. In the above case, let us presume Sandy Limited as another unit for manufacturing. This case is already given in your study material also. उसी को टेस्ट करके फिर एग्जाम में क्वेश्चन पूछा था. तो from there, let us presume that Sandy Limited has another unit for manufacturing of shoes in non-SEZ. Company transfers the product of non-SEZ unit to SEZ at a lower price. In respect of such product transferred from non-SEZ, only insignificant manufacturing activities take place in SEZ. मतलब आपका पूरा मैन्युफैक्चरिंग हो रहा है नॉन SEZ और फिर यू आर ट्रांसफरिंग द स्टॉक टू SEZ एट लोअर देन द FMV. तो फिर नॉन SEZ को टैक्स ना लगे. In respect of such product transfer, only insignificant manufacturing activity takes place. In this way, company is able to show higher profits in the SEZ than in the non-SEZ and consequently claims higher deduction in the computation of income. The sale from shoes transferred from non-SEZ unit constitutes 20% of the total turnover of the SEZ unit. समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं? देखो, नॉन SEZ यूनिट में इफ आई डू सेल ऑफ 10 रुपीज मुझे टैक्स लगेगा. SEZ में अगर मैं सेल ऑफ 10 रुपीज करूं तो नो टैक्स. हियर बिल्कुल टैक्स. तो हम क्या करते हैं, ये 10 रुपीज का आइटम है ना, इसको सेल वैल्यू जिसका 10 रुपये है ना, और सपोज इसका कॉस्ट है 6 रुपए, तो कॉस्ट टू कॉस्ट 6.25 में ऐसे आई सेल इट टू माई अनदर यूनिट, स्टॉक ट्रांसफर्स और ब्रांच सेल्स और व्हाटएवर. तो देयर इज अ नॉमिनल प्रॉफिट 0.25 इन द नॉन SEZ. अब यहाँ पे आ जाओ, कॉस्ट ही 6.2 है. अब यहाँ पे बेचो 10 रुपए में, बेचो 12 रुपए में, तो यहाँ जो भी प्रॉफिट आ रहा है, इफ यू सेल इट 6 का 12 रुपीज में 5.75 प्रॉफिट, बट यहाँ पे तो कोई टैक्स ही नहीं है. So you're manufacturing in non-SEZ just for the purpose of selling and exempting your profits. You are showing it through billing and everything through SEZ unit. Is this covered under Gaar? This is specifically covered under SAR. It is not allowed. SEZ का सेल हो रहा है तो वो SEZ में ही मैन्युफैक्चर होना चाहिए. कहीं और से खरीद के सिर्फ SEZ में आप सेल नहीं कर सकते. So already SAR is applicable. So not covered under Gaar. Write down the answer. SAR is applicable. Write down whatever explanation from screen you want to write. Write it. If you want me to scroll up and show you this answer, लिखो कि 56 में ये provision है. नहीं तो बाद में आंसर ढूंढोगे फिर आप. Clear? SAR applicable, hence GAR not applicable, but of course they can coexist. Okay, one more time the question asked is, if a transaction, if an arrangement, write down here only, if an arrangement is permitted by bar, you all know what is bar? Board for advance ruling कि हाँ इस टाइप का arrangement करो, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, तो will GAR apply to that? GAR is overriding DTAA, but will GAR apply? If arrangement is permitted by bar, will GAR apply to that? Answer is no. बोर्ड ऑफ एडवांस रूलिंग मतलब कौन है? ऑलरेडी कमिश्नर लेवल के टॉप अथॉरिटी पीपल्स, पीसीआईटी सीआईटी, दे फॉर्म अ बोर्ड एंड डू. सो दिस बार का जो भी रेगुलेशंस आएगा इज बाइंडिंग ऑन commissioners of income tax, principal commissioner, because it's the higher authority who are doing. Bar is binding. पीसीआईटी या फिर इनकम टैक्स अथॉरिटीज जो भी हैं उससे लोअर, subordinate to him in respect of application. देखो एक बार पढ़ो, क्लियर है या नहीं? याद है सबको बोर्ड फॉर एडवांस रूलिंग की, इफ यू आर डूइंग ट्रांजैक्शन यू कैन ऑब्टेन द रूलिंग इन एडवांस एंड ऑल. So if they have permitted, can you now get it caught in the GAR? No. When they have permitted, they के permit किया होगा ना, and they are higher authorities. So no. But otherwise, GAR is overriding DTAA. Scroll up and tell me, कुछ भी समझ में आया है नहीं? 5 marks जितना तो बस है. I know this topic is little technical only, और कुछ terms ही ऐसे हैं. बट राउंड ट्रिपिंग और ये और वो थोड़ा सा जो भी आपको समझ में आ जाए वो याद कर लो फ्रॉम दिस चैप्टर. एटलीस्ट आई फील दिस पार्ट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. And what is an impermissible? Literally, I am telling you, CMA exam 2 to 3 times write a short note for 4 marks on impermissible avoidance arrangement. You'll have to copy this. मैम वो example भी बनाने पड़ेंगे? नहीं. An impermissible arrangement means arrangement the main purpose of which is to obtain tax benefit. आप ये सब क्यों कर रहे हैं? Holding to subsidiary, subsidiary to F1, वहां से loan to get tax benefit above 3 crores. And it creates rights and obligations which are not ordinary, which are not at arm's length, or it results in misuse or abuse of the provisions of the act. आप bend कर रहे हैं, 10% से ज्यादा इन्वेस्ट किया ना तो टैक्स भरना पड़ेगा, तो आप 6% और 11%, 4% करते हैं, 5% करते हैं. I've given you the diagram. Or it lacks commercial substance, or is deemed to lack the commercial substance, or is entered into or carried out by means which are not ordinarily employed for the bona fide purpose. Okay, clear? Right. ठीक है. So that's all for Gaar from my side. I tried to make it as easy and comfortable. And there are around 8 questions here, 2 in your study material. Please, please, please write over there, refer study material example. Same ही है. मैंने 3 डायग्राम बताया ना आपको. वो होल्डिंग कंपनी फेक सब्सिडरी बना रहे हैं और उनके थ्रू इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं. So like this, 2-3 diagrams are there. Study and go. The reason I'm saying study and go, that same copy paste they can give an exam for 5 marks. वही सेम स्टडी मटेरियल का क्वेश्चन एग्जाम में पूछ सकते हैं. और दे आर स्प्लिटिंग. व्हेन वी नो कि वट एवर सर्विसेज यू रेंडर इन इंडिया, you have to pay tax on that. So even though you are giving me 100 million services only 20 million, 80 million is the equipment charge required for service like this. Huh? I will teach you direct taxation final for 6,000, or I will teach you direct taxation final for 2,000, 4,000 for my material and this and that. तो क्या 2,000 पे ही GST लगेगा? पूरे पे लगता है ना? So these are all the concepts which are same, and GAR has got this much importance. Don't lose marks if they ask you 1 or 2 marks MCQs. That's all for today. Thank you so much. Tomorrow I will be taking up tonnage tax, one days topic all, and 269 SSNT जिसमें से बहुत questions आते हैं. Specified financial transaction वो पढ़ेंगे. But after this, first you have to check the video for tax planning, tax avoidance, which I will not take live. I promised you कि 2-3 एक ये और एक ICDS. There is no change. So just already recordings are there. Watch that. If you have any doubt, you can ask. But छोड़ना नहीं है. इतने easy questions are there and they are solved in class in the video, that they'll give you 4 transactions and you have to identify, is this transaction tax planning or is it tax evasion or what? Okay. So promise that you will all do it. If you have any doubt, you can always ask me. Exam for GAR will be taken with the tax planning and other topics. Upcoming Sunday exam is there on most important topic for international taxation, 12 marks, 14 marks weightage, transfer pricing. ठीक है? That's all for today. Thank you so much. Any doubts are there? All clear? Yes. But I'm telling you, dear students, अभी जो मैंने example दिए ना, have you all written? Some scribbling you all have done? Repeatedly read it and finish it for the final exam. Right. Thank you, all of you. Bye.